Hi everyone, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today I have a special speed build in honor of Christmas, and I decided to do something a little different this year. And rather than making a house like I have the past 3 or so years, this year I'm making an inn or a bed and breakfast that's all decorated for Christmas, just because I really want to do something that was very grand and a little bit different than what I have been doing in the past years. And plus I just thought it'd be really fun to try to do an inn, and I have gotten a few requests to make an inn or a hotel, I think. I did make one before a few years ago back when Outdoor Retreat released, because I did make a rustic inn let's build, but this is a lot bigger than the inn I made for that, because that one only had about 4 rooms in it, I think, whereas this one has 9 bedrooms in it, which took quite a while to furnish, but I had so much fun with it. I just really had a lot of fun with this build. It's probably one of my favorite builds that I've done, and it was just great to do something a little bit different than just a regular old house. So here I'm working on the main entrance area of the inn, and for this I got a bit of inspiration from a picture I found on Google, because when I went to go do this build I wasn't quite sure where to start with it, because I wanted something that looked house-like, but that also looked like it was a hotel and not just a regular old house, if that makes any sense. So I was looking for some inspiration. I found a picture of this old Victorian mansion that had a deck going over. It's hard to explain. You'll see in a little bit, but on that area underneath that deck, it's just pavement, and it kind of goes in a semicircle shape out towards the road. And I really like that, because I imagine it being something where cars would drive through that path and stop in front of the building. People get out, bring their luggage in, and then the cars would continue on. And I don't know where these imaginary cars would park, because there's no parking lot or anything like that on this build, but that's just what I imagine. I felt like that gave it a very hotel type of look, while still having a very homey look to it also, because I didn't want this to look like some chain hotel. I really wanted to have that bed and breakfast feel where it's a cozy place owned by a family. And I feel like I did a pretty good job of getting that, but yeah, it took me a little bit to figure out this whole area right here. And oh yeah, I'll try to remember to put in a picture of the build or the house that I use as inspiration, because I based that whole entrance area off of that, and also one of the sides, because the picture was looking at it as if you were from the left side, like when you're looking at it from the front. So it's kind of a look at the front and the left side of the build, or yeah, no, the right side. What am I thinking? The right side, yeah, sorry. So yeah, I based that side of the house and the front of the build off of that. So you'll see that a little bit as I continue on with it. But right now I'm just widening the front of it, because I realized it looked a little bit too narrow, especially with how I used the medium wall heights. So I just felt like I really needed to widen up that whole area in the front. It definitely looked a little bit better after I did that. Oh, and since this is such a large build, I did split up into 2 parts, because if I had kept it all as one part, it would have been well over an hour, like probably an hour and 15 minutes long, which is just way too long. So yeah, it's split up 2 parts, and since this build did take so long to make, the parts are still a little bit long. Like this part is almost 40 minutes. The next one will probably be a little bit shorter. I have 30 minutes of build footage in there, and then I'll have the whole showcase of the build after that. I don't know how long the showcase is going to be, but it's probably going to be about 34 minutes, and I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be up, the second part. My plan is to have it up in 2 or 3 hours, or 2 or 3 hours from when this part is going up, but I am recording this commentary the day before it goes up, so I mean, something could come up and I'm not able to finish the commentary for the second part in time to have that up a few hours after this one, but that's my goal. So keep an eye out in a couple hours for the next part. If it's not up later today, then it will probably be up tomorrow. But the reason why I wanted to upload it today and not tomorrow, like what I usually do with my speed builds, because usually when I have 2-part speed builds, I upload one part one day and then the next part the other day, but I didn't want to do that this time, because tomorrow, or the day after this, I feel weird saying tomorrow, because I'm actually recording this the day before Christmas Eve, so it feels weird saying tomorrow, but anyway, I didn't want to upload it on Christmas Day, because I'm going to my parents' house for Christmas, so I'm going to be spending time with family, and I didn't want to have to be worrying in the back of my mind that something was wrong with the video or something like that, because I always, for whatever reason, worry that something's wrong with my videos whenever I upload them, and I just feel the need to check whenever they go up. But I just didn't want to have to worry about that on Christmas, and plus I figure a lot of you who celebrate Christmas are probably also going to be spending time with your family, so yeah, I would prefer not to upload this tomorrow, so I'll be trying my best to get it up later today. But at this point, I'm just trying to figure out the whole structure of the build, I guess. Yeah, I was pretty sure what I wanted to do with the one side But the other side, in the back of the build, I just wasn't really sure what to do with that. So I was kind of figuring it out as I go, and that tends to happen with larger builds a lot. Because usually when I do smaller builds, I have a really good idea of how I want the whole thing to look. So it doesn't take me too long to get the basics, the basic structure, whatever the build done. But yeah, with larger ones like this, it's definitely a lot trickier to figure it out. So there's a lot more doing and undoing things. And yeah, as you can see here, I'm just trying to figure out how to work it out best. And then a problem I also run into a lot with larger builds is that it gets tricky once you go to do the roofing, just because there's so many bits sticking out that you have to try to roof, and you have to figure out how to get everything to line up properly and work well. So the roofing on this especially was really, really tricky to do. I also took arches and sized them up and stuck them under the decks. Credit goes to Stepho Sims for that idea, because I saw her do that in her haunted hotel speed build, and seeing that build also made me want to try building a hotel myself. So that was a bit of inspiration for doing this build, but I think I'm about to start trying to roof this beast. Yep, we're beginning that. I was just trying to figure out what to do, and like I mentioned, the roofing on this was just so awful to do, because as you can see, the shape is kind of complicated, so it was really tricky to just get everything to line up, and I think I had to change the shape of the build in a few places to get things to work out, because it's just, I don't know, the roofing in The Sims 4 is really good in some ways. Like, in some ways it's better than The Sims 3, because I think you have, it's been a while since I built in The Sims 3, but I think you have more control over each individual roof piece, and you can also make each roof piece different colors, which is another nice thing. But one thing that does annoy me about roofing in The Sims 4 is that if you, because in The Sims 3, if you had like a roof that went through a house and then you put roof on top of that level, then it would get rid of all the roof underneath of it. So say you wanted a second floor that was kind of inside of the roof, then you could just put a roof over that and then would get rid of any roofing within that. So it just made it a lot easier to do things like that. But in The Sims 4, that doesn't happen, so you just have to put the roofing together in weird ways to get it to work. So I ran into that problem a little bit, because the third floor of this build is kind of within the roof a little bit, so that just made it so tricky. And there's some spots where you can see the roof when you're looking at the third floor, but I got rid of it for the most part. I got rid of the roofing inside of the house for the most part, but yeah, it's still there in some spots. It's been a while since I've done a large speed build. I did have the house that I made a couple months ago, the Side of Ranch one. That was pretty big, but it wasn't nearly as big as this build is. I think this is the second largest build that I've done in The Sims 4, next to the Casa de las Estrellas one that I did a couple of years ago, which was in case you didn't see it was a Spanish colonial mansion that was just a huge build, and I split it up into 3 parts because it was so long, and that was also sped up more than the video for this build was, because I think that was when I was speeding up my speed builds 8 times, but with this build I sped it up 7 times for the exterior and then 6 times for the interior, so it's a little bit slower. But yeah, it was fun to do another large build again, even though, it did take a while. So, I mean, smaller builds are more enjoyable in a way, because you could just turn them out a little bit more quickly. But I figured it'd be good to do something a little bit larger as a nice break from the apartment builds that I've been doing recently. Because, yeah, I've done a couple of apartment builds, and I had an apartment renovation. And I was going to upload another apartment build last weekend the weekend before this one's going up. But I ended up not having enough time to do the commentary for it, because the week before this past week was just such a busy week, because Monday I had a meeting that was rescheduled for the very end of the day, because usually I leave work around 4:30, but they scheduled a meeting that was supposed to be at 2 for 4:30, so then I was stuck in a meeting for like 2.5 hours after I was supposed to get off work, so I didn't get home till after 7, and I was just really tired at that point, so I didn't really feel like talking, so I just worked on this build instead, which was good, because I did, get to finish it. And then the next day was my company's holiday party, so I didn't get home from that till kind of late as well. And then the day after that was coworker game night, because every so often a bunch of us from where I work go over to someone's house after work, and we just play board games and hang out. So I had that. So Thursday was the first night I had time to record a video, and I had to record the video, the Let's Play part for Friday. So yeah, I didn't really have time to get another apartment build up this past weekend, but that will hopefully be up next weekend. But even though last week was pretty busy, it was still fun, or at least the game night and holiday party part of it, because meetings aren't always the most fun thing on earth. But yeah, so for the holiday party, we went to a restaurant and we, of course, ate food. And then we also did a white elephant gift exchange, which, if you don't know what that is, it's just like you buy a gift. It could be something fun or it could be something that's just kind of useless or silly. And then you draw a number and you go up an order and then you choose the gift. And then, or instead of choosing a gift, you can choose to take something that someone already has opened, and then usually you can only exchange gifts a certain amount of times. But I mean, most of you probably know what a white elephant gift exchange is. But anyway, that's what we did, and it was actually really entertaining to see what all of the gifts were, because there's some good gifts, and there's also some really useless gifts. Like what were some of the things? There was like one of the things was dog butt magnets and a desk cornhole set, which would have been kind of cool to get, because I mean you could just stick the cornhole set on your desk, and then when you need a break from your work you just play a little bit of cornhole. But I don't know what I would have done with the dog butt magnet, so yeah, I guess it's a good thing I didn't end up with that. And then like half of the people brought alcohol as their gift. So that was half of it, and then there was a bunch of other silly stuff. Like one of the things was a Hillary Clinton nutcracker, and there was also like someone ended up with a twirling ballerina figurine, which is pretty much useless. So that's another thing I'm glad I didn't end up with, because I mean, I guess if you're really into ballerinas, it's a cool thing, but I'm not. And I felt kind of bad for the guy who got it, because he really just wanted to get rid of it. And what else was there that was interesting? Someone ended up with a megaphone, and there was some other good stuff in there. I'm trying to remember what there was. Oh yeah, one person. So like the last gift that I got opened, this one guy, for his present, he took a picture of himself with his hands on his chin, like dreamily looking off into the distance, and printed the picture in black and white, put it in a nice picture frame, and wrote "To my number one" from James on it. And I almost ended up with that gift too, because I was the next to last person to go, and I wasn't really like too excited about a lot of the stuff that was opened. So I was kind of thinking, maybe I'll open up the last package and take a chance. But I mean, I'm kind of glad I didn't, although it would have been kind of funny to end up with that in a way, but I don't know what I would have done with it. I don't know. If I'd ended up with a picture thing, I probably would have just stuck it at random places around the office, like stick it in the kitchen area or something like that. I don't know. But what I did end up with was a pair of gloves, which I know isn't very exciting, but I actually did really need a new pair of gloves. So yeah, I kept those. I actually stole them from someone else. They're really nice gloves too. Like they're very warm, and you can use them with touchscreen devices. So yeah, that's why I chose those, because I just really need new gloves. Because the gloves I currently have are ones that my mom had given me as a stocking stuffer for Christmas a few years ago. And while I appreciate my mom giving me the gloves, they're ones that I kind of wanted to move on from, because they're these like mitten gloves, and then on one hand it says LOL, and on the other one it says OMG. So, and plus they're not very warm. So yeah, I was just kind of looking for some new gloves. So yeah, I took those. Yeah, seeing them reminded me that I really need new gloves. Oh, and my contribution to it was a $20, because we had it was like a $20 spending limit. So I just bought like a $20 remote control quadcopter, which actually was a hit, because after, so we were doing it to where you could only steal a gift 3 times, and then it was stuck with whoever stole it the 3rd time. And after that was open, it got stolen every turn until it was stuck with someone. So I was pretty happy that that was such a hit. But anyway, getting back to the build, we are doing the landscaping now, just sticking in a ton of plants, because I really wanted to give this build a lush look. Oh, and I probably should have comment on this when it came up in the video, but I was just off rambling about things unrelated to it. But there was a chunk of the build that I lost, because of, you may have seen where it just jumped from the build having no wallpaper to having all the wallpaper and windows done. That was because I unfortunately lost a little bit of the building footage, because the day I was starting this, I had my hard drive that I record the files to almost filled up, and I should have known that this was a problem, because like earlier in the day I rendered a video, and then the rendering got interrupted because I didn't have enough hard drive space, but I cleared off just enough to render the video and then a little bit extra. And I probably should have remembered to clear off more hard drive space before I went in to start this build, but nope, I didn't. So unfortunately I lost the whole chunk where I put up the windows and did the wallpapering and all of that. It could have been worse though, because in the past when I would go to work on a speed build, like say if I sat down for 2 hours, I would have just one video clip for that whole 2 hours. Like, I wouldn't cut it all if I got up to take a break or something like that. But more recently, what I've been doing is if I want to stop and look around, I'll just stop the recording, look around, then start again. Or if I decide I want to take a break to eat or something like that, I'll stop it. So fortunately, because of that, I didn't lose the whole chunk of what I did in that day. I just lost the bits that I did towards the end. So that was good. And I was glad that the whole roofing process didn't get deleted because as I mentioned a bunch of times, the roofing was really challenging, and I have gotten comments asking about roofing or from people saying that they pay close attention to how I do the roofing in speed build so that they can get a better idea of how to do roofing. So I'm glad that that was kept in, so those of you who wanted to see how I did the roofing could be able to see that. And I think it was less important to be able to see the wallpaper and the windows anyway, especially since the speed build is pretty long to begin with, so if that stuff hadn't been cut out, it probably would have been 5 or 10 minutes longer. So I'm actually kind of glad that I lost that footage in a way. But here we're working on the backyard. And so at the back of this build, I decided to turn it into a wedding area because it's been a while since I've done a wedding venue. And I just thought it'd be really nice if a lovely place like this was a wedding venue also. You know, it's always good to have more wedding venues too. So I might use this in a Let's Play. Although, since tomorrow's Christmas, I'm probably going to have to de-Christmas the place unless I don't use it for, like, another year. But I'll probably want to use it before then, so I'll just get rid of the Christmassy things throughout and use it maybe, because I probably will have some weddings going on in Let's Plays sometime soonish, like, over the next few months. So, yeah, I might just use this place. And unfortunately, there wasn't a whole lot of room on the slot apart from the build, so I probably should have used a 50 by 50 lot or a 64 by 64 lot, but honestly, I didn't really feel like doing all that landscaping. I was more so in the mood to just do the build and furnish it than to do landscaping, so I kind of put it on this size lot so that I wouldn't have that much landscaping to do. But on the one side of the yard, we have the whole wedding area, of course, and on the other side is the reception area, so I just have a bunch of tables and a piano and a bar over there, and I think that's pretty much it. I also stuck in that lantern oak tree because I thought it'd be really nice to have the lighting from that. I can't remember if I keep it though. I think I might have gotten rid of it because I was worrying that the backyard was too busy or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember exactly because I started this build almost a month ago because I knew I had to give myself a bunch of time to finish it because it was a pretty large build. I knew this wasn't something I could really crank out within the last 2 weeks before Christmas. So pretty glad that I got an early start on this, but we're just doing the whole landscaping for this place. And I did set it as a restaurant just because I felt like for an inn, that was probably the best setting for it out of what we do have because we don't really have a hotel lot type. But I'm not sure if you can have weddings at restaurants. That's not something I've tested out, but I'm pretty sure this build will have everything you need to set as either a lounge or a nightclub. It might need a speaker, or not a nightclub. Why would you? No, I don't think a nightclub is a very good setting for this place. No, I meant a bar. Either a bar or lounge. I think you might be able to set it as one of those. I think for a bar you might need some speakers for it. I'm not sure about a lounge. I think you need a microphone for a lounge though, which this place doesn't have, which I probably should have put in it in hindsight. But anyway, if you want to set it as one of those other things, then there's probably only like an object or two that you have to put, so it's really not that difficult to convert it over. I actually meant for it to have whatever you needed to convert it to something else, but I kind of forgot about that last minute. Maybe I'll go in and I'll stick a speaker in somewhere so you don't have to do that yourself. But yeah, we are almost done with the outside of the build, and I actually, so this part we have the whole exterior of the build, and then we also have the furnishing of the first floor, and then the whole next part will be the furnishing of the 2 upper floors, which includes all of the rooms. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that, because I had a lot of fun with furnishing the rooms, but I'll save talking about that for the video where we're talking about for the next part of this build. Anyway, here I'm just sticking all the stuff into the reception area. We've got the bar, we've got the piano, where I probably should have put a microphone as well, because that probably would have been a really good thing to have back here, because weddings, you have people giving toasts and all that stuff, and microphones are handy to do that so people can actually hear you. Oh, I also used that cute little trellis item that came with, I think, romantic garden stuff. Yeah, I've never actually used that before, and I've actually never used a lot of the things that came with romantic garden stuff apart from the plants, which I did use a lot throughout this whole build, because I just went, like, for a red theme with the outside of this build. I was going to make it blue originally, like that one house that I used as a reference, but I decided why not just go more Christmassy and make it red? Why not go a little bit more all out with this build, although I did make it look too ridiculously Christmassy. So if you want to use it after Christmas, then it's pretty easy to swap it over for that. But it definitely does have a red color theme throughout, and also I added in a lot of greens, but I was trying not to put red and green throughout the interior. I mean, I did in some rooms where there's a lot of red and green, but I tried not to do that throughout the whole inside of the place, because I wanted to make it look like it was a place decorated for Christmas. Not just that, it was like Christmas all year round here, but parts of the build kind of ended up looking like that, because when I first started doing the furnishing, I was just really going a little bit all out with the red and green in it, but in later parts of the builds, it doesn't end up like that. Like, hardly any of the rooms have red or green in them. I think there was one room that was red, and I don't remember if I made a green room. I don't think I did, but yeah, I didn't really use those colors a whole lot throughout the rooms. But anyway, we're just getting the things on the decks. I didn't really stick a whole lot on the decks out here. We've just got some benches on this one, because I thought it'd be a nice area for Sims to go out and sit. But other than that, there's not really a whole lot outside in this area. We're just taking care of all the lighting, which was mostly done because I did put lanterns throughout the backyard once I was doing that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. So we're finally moving on to the interior of the build, and right now I'm just trying to figure out the whole lobby situation. So I just have this area in here with a half wall in front of it that I used as the check-in area. So for the whole like check-in, I just used these the host stations. Yeah, because I thought it'd be kind of cool to use those and place them there so it would look like that was the people you go to check into the hotel. So I thought that was a neat way to do that. And then of course it's all open from the upper floor, so you can just look down to the lobby from up there. And on the first floor of the build, there's the dining room as well as a kitchen and a lounge area, and there's a bathroom and a study kind of area, or it's more of an office, and I thought of it as being the office of the person who owned the place, like where they would do paperwork and stuff like that. I debated turning that into another bathroom down here on the first floor, because I thought maybe it'd be good to have two bathrooms, but nah, I decided to just keep it to one bathroom down here because there's a bazillion bathrooms upstairs anyway, so I didn't really think there needed to be another public one. But yeah, I just used one of the turrets as a bathroom, and then one of the other ones is the office. Oh, and there's also that really, yeah, so this is the bathroom right there, but there's also that really cool Christmassy fireplace that came with the recent holiday patch, and I thought that was so cool. And then what else did they add in the patch? They added a nutcracker and blinking lights, I think, and I think there's a few other things, but I don't really remember. But I thought the fireplace was really cool, so I used that in a couple places in the build. So we have it in the dining area, and then it's also over here in the lounge area, which is the area on this side. So I just stuck it in the middle of the room there, although I didn't have a chimney going up all the way through the build. I don't know, it wouldn't have really worked out well if I tried to do that, so I didn't bother with it. And now moving upstairs to plan out all the rooms. So on the second floor there are 5 rooms, and it was sort of tricky to fit in a bathroom and a bathroom for each of the rooms. And I was also sticking beds into the rooms just to make sure that they would actually work out well for them. But yeah, we have 5 rooms on this floor, and then we have 4 rooms on the second floor. And this room right here is a bit bigger than the other one, so I imagine that as being the honeymoon suite, where if you have your Sims get married here, they can just go and stay in that room afterwards, since it's definitely the nicest. As you'll see in the next part, I furnished it in a very luxurious style. And then the last 2 rooms on this floor are super cramped. I was kind of having trouble figuring out how to put the bathroom off of that last one, which is just super, super tiny. So now we're up to the rooms on the second floor, on the third floor actually, and these rooms are a little bit bigger than the ones on the floor below, but they don't have as many windows in them, so I feel like they're not quite as nice because of that. But I feel like things would be a little bit more private up here on the top floor, so we're just finishing up the layout now, and I think that's pretty much it for the layout of the place now that we've got all the rooms in. So we can finally begin on the furnishing. So starting off with the whole lobby area down here. I just really like how the lobby looks with the check-in stations, or the host stations in that one room. But unfortunately, I don't think it'll, like when Sims actually go to check-in, I don't think they'll just walk up to the half wall and then talk to the Sim on the other side. I think what they'll actually do, unfortunately, is they'll go around, walk into the room, and then talk to the host, because I had that happen in, there was this one build I did back over the summer. It was Amanda's Soft Serve or something like that. It was an ice cream place. And I had the host stations on the other side of a half wall like I have here. And the Sims just kept going into the kitchen area to talk to the Sim at the the host station. So unfortunately, it doesn't work quite as I would like for it to work, but it still looks right. So yeah, we're just getting a decorative table in the middle of the room. Thought that would look very fancy for an elegant place like that. And then I wasn't sure what to do with these nooks on either side of the door. I was gonna stick some couches in them at first, but I think what I ended up doing, I ended up just sticking bookshelves in there. I thought that it would look a little bit better to do that to fill in the space rather than just sticking some couches. Now we're getting a bunch of pictures, and I think there's not really too much more to this room. I did add a few Christmas decorations to it with the garland along the front, and then we got the nutcracker looking out into the room, so I thought that was pretty cute. And for some reason, when you go up to the upper floor, you can't see into the room where the check-in station is. I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's some kind of graphical glitch similar to the one where doors would disappear if you put roofs over them or so. I don't remember what the whole thing was, but I had problems before with doors disappearing when you would go up a floor. I fortunately haven't had that happen, but yeah, now I'm having this problem with this build. So yeah, that means I can't really get any cool shots looking at the check-in area from the second floor, but that's not that big of a deal. But anyway, we're just getting some more decorations in front of here, and I think that this whole area is just about done. So we're moving into this area. Oh, they also added those new candles in with the patch. Yeah, I really like those candles, and I use them a whole bunch throughout the build. Like, they just worked really well as table decorations and on coffee tables and all of that, so we just did that a lot. Oh, and I also stuck those keys up there because I was kind of thinking that they could be like keys to the rooms, although maybe in that case I should have put 3 of those in, so it's like 9 keys to 9 rooms. That probably would have worked out a little bit better, but I mean, that's just a small detail. That's not really a huge deal, but we are just finishing up this area. Thought about adding some paintings, but I don't think I end up, yeah, I think I just stuck these snowflake decals in here instead. I'm pretty sure I kept those. Oh, and then we got some last minute curtains going in here, so that should be just about it. And then after working on that area, I moved over to the dining area, and there's also a bar in here as well, and that's kind of the first area of here that I worked on. And yeah, that one room off to the right is the room that was supposed to be like the office or the owner's office. Pretty happy with how this part of the build turned out. And yeah, I made the bar stools red because this was the part of the build where I was in the let's make everything red and green mood. Yeah, so unfortunately most of the things in this room, well, not really that unfortunately, because I mean this is a Christmas build, but yeah, most of the things in this room are red and green. At least I didn't make the walls red, so I didn't go quite that over the top. Although, I mean, I don't know, this was a Christmas build, so maybe I should have gone a little bit even more over, yeah, maybe I should have gone a little bit more over the top with the red and the green in it, but we do have some red curtains, so yeah, that's a little bit more red in there. And then I decided to use the stove with the pass-through, the chef station with the pass-through window. Thought that'd be a nice touch. And I wasn't sure what to do for like decorations on the counters at first. So I thought it would look kind of neat if I took the wine rack and then raised it up and made it look like it was on top of the counters. And I really like how that looks. It matches the color of the cabinets pretty well, and it also nicely frames the windows as well. So yeah, that was something I really liked. And now we're just getting the final decorations and such on top of here. We got a jar of olives, got some other things as you can tell. But that's pretty much the gist of this part of the build. So I don't really have much else to say about it. So yeah, those of you who are celebrating Christmas, do you have any exciting plans for it? And if you don't celebrate Christmas, do you have any exciting plans for the holidays? Because I know that not everyone who watches this video probably celebrates Christmas. But yeah, like I said, I'm going to be going to my parents for a few days just to spend some time with them because I don't really get to see them as much as I would like nowadays because things are just always busy in general, and really like the spending family part of Christmas is my favorite part of it right now. When I was younger, I was all about the, like I really like the gift part of it, but now that I'm an adult, that's not really nearly as important to me because when I was a kid, when I was really young, I didn't have a job or any way of earning money really. So, Christmas was the only time I got money to buy things with or like presents and stuff like that. But now, that just doesn't really matter to me because if I want things, I can just get it myself. So yeah, that part of Christmas just really isn't important to me at all. And like when people have asked me what I want, like I don't know what I want because there's like, I don't know, there's like really nothing that I want. So I'm just, happy with whatever anyone decides to get me. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing for Christmas, just spending time with family, really looking forward to that. So we're not about to finish up the dining area, but we made a bunch more progress with it. So there's those candles that I was talking about earlier that I used in the check-in area. Yeah, I really like how they looked on the larger tables. I feel like they would be a little bit overwhelming on the smaller ones, but we don't have too many tables in here. That's fine though, because there's a whole bunch of tables outside that will count as tables for the restaurant. And then right inside the fire, right in front of the fire, not inside the fire, you don't want to sit inside the fire, but right in front of the fire, I thought it would be really cozy to add a couch so you can just sit in front of it and relax and stuff like that. So yeah, I thought that would be nice to add in there. Hopefully that coffee table isn't too close, and the rug also. Yeah, because I don't want any fire starting. I think having rugs really close to fireplaces might make it so fires start. I don't know. Well, hopefully too many fires don't start from that fireplace. At least you can put it out, because I did builds in the past where I would raise objects up onto the mantle, like objects that normally wouldn't fit on them, using the move objects cheat. And the problem is when you do that, the Sims can't get to the fireplace to put out fires. But I didn't do that this time, so at least if there is a fire, your Sims can easily get to it to put it out. But I think at this point we're just about done with this room, so I'm adding in a few chairs on either side of the fireplace, and I believe now we're moving in. And then, so I realized that those knights would be a nice touch to add to this place, because they're very fancy and also very expensive. So this place is, I think, 500 and something thousand simoleons, so it's probably the most expensive build that I've done. Yeah, I think this turned out even more expensive than the one Mediterranean Manor I did, because I think that was 300 or 400,000. I don't really remember. I don't know, maybe I have done a build that was 500,000 simoleons before. I don't really remember though. I feel like this is probably the most expensive build that I've done. But the penthouse that I'm working on in the Let's Build a Penthouse series I have going on is probably going to be more expensive. Maybe. Yeah, because I plan on going all out with just putting crazy expensive things into that build. So really looking forward to getting further into that series. But currently we're working on the whole lounge area over here. So this is the part of the build where I added in the Christmas tree, because you of course have to have a Christmas tree somewhere in here. I thought about putting in the foyer and sizing it up, but nah, didn't really think that looked very great. So I just stuck it over here. And I noticed that when you're placing the Christmas trees, like it's lit up when you first place it down, but then if you go to move it again, it like goes out, which kind of bugged me because I really wanted to look all pretty and lit in the build as I was making it. And I stuck presents around it, which probably like I didn't need to do, because this is an inn, not like a house, so you wouldn't really have presents in front of it. But I just thought it would be a cool decorative thing to do. We also got another piano over there. Felt like that would be a nice touch for this area, as well as some chairs. So yeah, this is another room where I was just making things red and green, but I think I may have changed some of the furniture to blue, because I was thinking that, okay, maybe I shouldn't, like I said, maybe we should go for more of a this is a place decorated for Christmas look rather than this is a Christmas place. So yeah, I changed it to go with that look a little bit more. I also wanted to put a game room into this build, but unfortunately there wasn't really enough room to have a whole separate game room, so I just have a foosball table in one of the corners in this room, and here we're just getting in a couch and some chairs in front of the fire, so your Sims can just sit there and enjoy it. So yeah, that's pretty much that. Oh, and they also, I think it was with the holiday patch, they added in a whole bunch of new colorings for some of the more fancy items, or it may not have been the holiday patch. It might have been because I can't remember if there was one between the holiday patch and when Vintage Glamour stuff came out. Maybe there wasn't. I don't know. It may have just been the holiday. But anyway, there was a patch where they added a whole bunch of new colorings for the more elegant items in this game, which I was really happy about, because I wasn't happy with the colorings for some of the items, so I was really glad to see that. So I used a few of those new colorings in this build, because I think they came out with new colorings so that the items would match items in Vintage Glamour stuff a little bit better. And I did start this build before Vintage Glamour stuff came out, so I furnished most of the first floor before that. But then once it did come out, I used a whole bunch of stuff from it in this build, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to at first, because I wasn't sure if the items would fit in with the style of the build, because I was going for more of a, well, I mean, I don't know, like I was going for more of a wooden furniture, old-fashioned kind of a look, but a lot of the items from Vintage Glamour stuff actually fit in really, really well with this build, so I just used a whole bunch of it upstairs and a few items on this floor, but for the most part, I didn't really use stuff from it on this floor. But yeah, I used the stuff in a few of the rooms. Oh, and here's the foosball table that I was mentioning earlier. So yeah, there's that, so you simply go over there and have a little bit of entertainment. I didn't put any TVs or speakers in this place, because I figured this is a place that wouldn't really have a whole lot of technology in it. Because I kind of envision it as being owned by an elderly couple. And I don't know, I don't know why for some reason that made me think that like there wouldn't really be a whole lot of TVs or any TVs actually because there's no TVs. Like I didn't put any in any of the rooms. So yeah, I just didn't really think that that was something that would fit in that well with this build, so I didn't add it. But we're done with the lounge area, so we're moving on to the bathroom, which is the only bathroom on the first floor here, and it was kind of a weird shape. So I thought about trying to add stalls in, but it was just such a weird shape that it wouldn't really have worked that well to try to add that in. So we just got one toilet and a sink, so it's kind of a big room for that, but oh well. So yeah, this room didn't really take too long to furnish. We just got a few things in here. Yeah, we got a trash can right here. Had to have that, of course. I thought about putting a rug in the center of the room, but nah, I thought that looked a little bit weird. And then over on this side, we've got a chair that your sim can sit on if they decide that they want to sit in a bathroom for some reason, as well as a plant, because you gotta have a plant in this room. And I also stuck a coat rack in here because I was thinking that it could be like a coat rack that if Sims had coats that they took off, they could put it on there, or like a purse or something like that. I don't know, I was just kind of thinking about it realistically and wanted something else to fill in all that space with, because yeah, that was... the bathroom probably wasn't the best use of space, but I just felt like that was the best place to stick that in. So right now we're moving on to the kitchen, and I actually really like how the kitchen turned out. So we got a couple of chef stations in there. I also used that more old-fashioned-y looking fridge. Thought it'd be cute to add that into the build. And yeah, pretty pleased with how this room turned out. So just getting all the cabinets in here, of course. And yeah, we've only got one more room to furnish in this part, so yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to get the next part up in a few hours. I'm just going to take a little bit of a break before doing the commentary for the next part, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to get it finished today so I can have everything up tomorrow and I'll have time to do the showcase and all that, because I still need to get that done, so I think I'll have enough time to finish up everything. But yeah, we're just finishing up the kitchen here, just working on getting the decorations. I thought those boxes would be a good thing to put in here. Also got to have a dishwasher in there. And oh yes, I realized, I was like, oh wait, I should probably put that sign out front. Like it might be good to have some kind of sign thing out in the front of the building. Although I think I had something hanging off of the very front of it maybe. I don't remember. I was trying to use those signs that came with Dine Out, but I feel like they're a little bit too modern for this build. You may have seen where I was trying to use them in the very beginning, but yeah, I just took those out because I felt like they were way too modern for this build. They just didn't really fit in with it that well. It would be kind of cool if they had signs like that that were more traditional. Because, you know, not every restaurant, like a lot of the items that came with Dine Out were more modern, but then, you know, a lot of people are going to be making restaurants that aren't modern. So I thought it would have been kind of good to have some floor signs that were less modern, but anyway, I still figured out something that worked for it. But we're on the very last room now, which is the owner's office, and this was, I think before I worked on this room, I had vintage glamour stuff. Yeah, I did, because I did put in the glow bar into this room just because I thought it'd be kind of cool to have the hidden bar in this room. Because I think what I did was I did everything up to the bathroom in the first day, or maybe not. I don't remember. Maybe I did some of the other furnishing another day, but anyway, when I went to go do the bathroom, kitchen, and this room, I had vintage glamour stuff. So that was done after I had that, so I used a few things. I was trying to use the wallpaper from it in this room at first, but I did change it because, I don't know, I just decided for whatever reason it wasn't really the best fit. Oh, and there's a glow bar. Yeah, it's a little bit crammed in there, but hopefully your Sims will actually be able to move around this room. I'm kind of worried about that because it is pretty cramped. But we're almost at the end of this video, so yeah, I just wanted to mention that if you want to download this, there'll be a link to do so in the description. I'll also have some other stuff in there on how to find it in-game. And yeah, hopefully the next part will be up in a few hours. I guess I'll have it up in a couple hours, that'll be what I shoot for. But yeah, that's it, so I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching, and bye!